But seriously, at the beginning of the game, and we were speaking about the bans and what was going to happen, bind was a big question. So maybe we get some answer here. And we are getting some answers. He was not baiting into.
Oh, I pray for times like these. Faded, I mean, this is not what we expected. First of all, ISO bind, yay or nay?
I'm a 50-50 on it, actually. I think the suppress is extremely useful against teams because, you know, there are going to be heavy exec comps. I think Liquid does a really good job with their comp to be able to be explosive, and I think the ISO will be able to heavy counter that. So, you know, I think that's the intentions behind it, but I did not expect this double duelist to come out.
Yeah, we've seen in the first map with Ascent BBL being extremely fast, extremely explosive, and I think that probably this double duelist is going to help them doing that, especially starting on the attack. I want to see how Levin uses the walls, how we're going to see him actually playing for the rest of the team and not just him. I want to see that synergy between him and Sociable. After Sociable had such a brilliant map, Levin is the one that needs to bounce back from Sunset.
Yeah, and this is where also we thought BBL could ban the bind, right? We wanted them to take away the bind, but it turns out they were just extremely prepped with something new. Faded, is this a right place to bring out something like this? Is this a good risk?
I think it is. I think especially after the heater that Sociable just had, having him on a duelist going into this map, I mean, I'm sure he's full of confidence going in. I think it's very tough to read BBL's reactions. Even when they brought the bind against us, they completely changed comps. And it was something that wasn't expected. And I think that's kind of what they're hoping to get on top of Liquid. But not gonna lie, Liquid has really, really, really good protocols. You know, even I study their team to understand exactly what they're doing because they have a lot of different ways they play this map. So I think it's a huge risk BBL's taking, but I think, you know, if they're gonna do this, I feel like they're extremely comfortable and confident in going into this.
They've had some samples of them taking risks, like what we just saw on Ascent was at the beginning just a risk of being like, oh, they're going back into it after having a terrible performance in it to maybe counter what Fnatic was doing. And they managed to make it work. If they are able to do it twice in playoffs, I would be extremely surprised with what this team can do in just 2 weeks.
Yeah, and Sociable might be my favorite person in the world for having the balls to walk on stage, cosplay Yoru, like does a Yoru thing, go on the server and lock it in. Because we've been baited so many times, and this is clearly something that you want your most confident player to be playing, right? If he's already feeling confident on the second map, and also when was the last time we saw a player play Initiator, Senti into Duelist on a series to qualify for champs?
I mean, there are players that could do it, but we do not see it, especially in such an important match.
Yeah, I am absolutely loving Sociable's Forsaken cosplay. Mitran and Tom Biz, what do you make of this?
Hey, look, if you're able to frag out like that on a deadlock, I think it makes perfect sense to come on in to the server as a duelist for what could be the map to send you to champions. It's a crazy play from BBL. But a trick up their sleeve, it would seem. Let's see how Liquid adapt.
Yeah, I think as well, like you look at this squad and how they sort of vibe of being pacey and aggressive, like one of the quickest teams to sight in almost every single attack side that they play, throw in an ISO or Yoru and create that sort of level of disparity within the Liquid ranks of what they're doing, where they're going, throw in a Brimmy so you even have a Stimmy to get you going. And I don't know, I think this could be dangerous. The fact is though, Liquid have done well to start off strong. And a lot of these maps thus far, without a ninja defuse, who knows what that last map could have began as. And Camo is waiting.
Or how it could have ended. BBL, the pistols, the big talking point. Well, they've been good at the early half, maybe not that way. There's a chance. Levin shut down Sociable on the trade, but only the one to be found. And now we look. The very many players tagged up on BBL without the spike planted. They need something to pull them back into this round. Lots of opponents spotted on this side of the map. In fact, they're good to TP and they realize it. It does leave Magnum isolated. Oh. He'll be taken down, a big punish, but Trex on 13 HP. Yeah, I think it's BBL with the advantage here.
Spike planted.
Oh, Trex is 13 HP in the last duel. It's just that he managed to crouch headshot his opponent, and now we're going to get a 1v1 towards Long, potentially. Kiko on that wraparound. Yumpy playing back passively, waiting for him to try and cross. He loses this fight and it puts all the pressure on Profek, who's already low, but it's whether or not he actually checks this close angle at all, and the answer is no. You can see Yumpy is just waiting to see if there's a second layer to that. Now Trex needs another couple of those low HP kills And with Yumpy not facing and Profek waiting, BBL have the pistol round.
There it is, a strong start on Bind. Remember, they managed to come into this series 5-0 down starting out Ascent, battled their way back, but the slow start cost them the real chance to fight in the end. Then on Sunset, they need the hero of Sociable to have the best game he's ever had. So here in VCT EMEA, certainly up there with some of the best that we have seen.
I'm thinking back to him on Pearl with the sniper though. Like he's
you're
had a
right.
few. That's the thing.
Right.
When he pops off, he genuinely might be the best player in the league. It just doesn't happen every single day. And I guess for them, they got to hope he hasn't peaked too early, or maybe hope there's someone else. Just spams. They haven't even seen an enemy yet. But 3 players are dead. The orb didn't even get taken. They didn't even get the orb.
It's hard not to look at the previous map and talk entirely about Sociable. Hell, he's got the most kills on the map, and it was in regulation for this entire stage. But the reality is, the positives for BBL were there, mostly on him. Levin had a poor game, and that's not something you're going to expect in back-to-back maps. It's not something you're going to expect at all, really, from this guy. Now he's on the ISO, here on Bind. We know Sociable's level. Sociable's on a duelist. This is looking like BBL have really hit that power spike right towards the end of the game, and this series, it could well be theirs. But this is where Liquid look to put an early stop to those notions. Full investment, full buy. But to be honest, it's not that weak of a purchase from BBL either.
Yeah.
Still playing it as a bonus.
It was an in-zone flawless in the last round that gave them that extra opportunity. A TP actually straight in, and already Trex has been overwhelmed. A solid start, still with a couple. A man to highlight on this map, Padatek normally very good on the sky, but it's a little bit whiffy, and the trade's good for the side of BBL. A 2-man advantage. And as it was shown on the toast earlier, the retakes have never been particularly good. We've seen some miracle Nats lineups before, but that's not going to be one of them.
He's done well, tagged up a bunch of players. They're going to have to reinvest into shields. In terms of econ, it pays off more in his favor. That's great. That's a positive. And now we're out of positives for Team Liquid in this round, because they're trying to save these 2 weapons. Presumably they will do so, but with 4 players alive for BBL after an in-zone flawless in the previous round, this is a huge economy builder. It means it's not just a matter of winning 1, maybe not even a matter of winning 2 rifle rounds back-to-back. You are going to need to crush this attack side, find solution after solution. With a 3-0 scoreline brewing, here's a chance to make it more costly for Nats. He wants this weapon, though. It's a difficult trade-off, and in the end, it's the worst of both worlds as he goes down without a pick to his name.
Solid work. Already you can just see the gambles and pacing that they're willing to take, the immediate pressure put on, and after the last match, I think that's the bigger worry for me. It's not so much that Sociable was needed to carry. It's the fact that you could see that the team got so pumped up alongside it. It bailed them out of a scenario, and now they know they're in this match. My counter to that, however, is all 3 of the matches they played versus each other in VCT have ended with Liquid winning 2-1.
They're Sociable down early, but an immediate trade. The fundamentals for BBL good to start. 2 pistols and a stinger. It's a weak buy from Team Liquid. Numpy's in trouble. They're TPing behind as well. That's the spike down. The fundamentals were there for a moment, but it has quickly faded away. Deep aggression. Perhaps overplaying their hand here. Team Liquid forcing the issue, but it's working in their favor. Magnum, he knows there's a player in that corner, so desperately low. It should be a formality, and out comes the shorty, but taking the orb is a bridge too far, and it's come burning down on BBL. The 4-0 start is not to be. There's a resurgence from Liquid.
I guess Magnum's assumption was that the player must have been far enough away not to already be breathing down his neck, but it's not even like that orb got him. Oh, like if he'd been 1 away and that was a Viper's Pit, I could maybe understand it, but instead it feels like a massively unnecessary risk in a position where they really needed to take home that round. That just freed it up for Nats to take that victory. And what Liquid now onto the board. It's definitely a mistake from the side of BBL, and their momentum immediately shut down.
Yeah, it's a really big round for Liquid. All those weaknesses that they come into it with, they get hand-delivered the spike after a brawl early on, and mean, they're even winning fights with like Trex on a Stinger long range. Talked about Sociable firing on all cylinders, lifting up all those around him. Well, no doubt that round has done the same for Team Liquid. Close play by Levin. He holds on to control. So much utility thrown his way, but he still manages to walk out of there with the advantage for his squad. Team Liquid on the back foot.
As they figure out where Nats is, he can steal him away. Instead, he's gone running through. He's trying to take it all into his own hands! This is why you don't go near Nats and his poison orb. That's already a nail in the coffin of this round. And maybe a reminder of who BBL are playing against. No access to sight. Well, they didn't even make it close.
30
seconds. Spike to be picked up. 1 versus 4. Nats still lurking around. This one's done, isn't it? Levin will find the first, but even then, the clock is almost his biggest enemy. 18 seconds. If he's going to go for it, it's got to be here and now, and they are going to wait and run this clock down. They've got the numbers to do it. One at a time. There's the flash before he even taps the spike, and the swing on the back of it closes us out. 3-2. This could have been a strong start to the half, but as always, knives on throats as soon as it gets close. 1 round in between them.
Oh my God.
The mistake to not respect Nats' utility. I don't think they'll make that mistake again.
It's just so disgusting. We've talked about this guy for, what, 4 years now, playing Viper on this map? I think we've probably got at least another 4 in us before we'll ever stop. Unless someone truly nerfs Viper into the ground, and even then, he'll probably still find a way. Still, BBL's first couple of rounds were clean enough that they are going to have a bye here. Levin with his ultimate can be a difference maker. But just look how passive this B site hold currently is. They're willing to leave it almost completely open in the hopes that maybe if that ult is used, it won't find anyone.
Usually you're going to have that point of contact first, but throwing it in blind, not necessarily a terrible idea. They crash the backside. Here comes the ult. It's not going to find anyone if it's thrown this way. But he's waiting for contact, starting to put the pieces together. Hunt sees no one, looking to elbow. It's a good read. He doesn't know that yet, but waiting for that contact. There it is. Nats found. He'll be dealt with immediately. Now Levin look to pull one into a fight, and he does manage to find opposition. It's Camo. Showstopper. Not going to land for a kill, but he ends up going down to the molly of Profek. 3 versus 3. BBL holding close as well. They want to take this fight with an orbital strike, slowing the push, allowing for the reposition too.
That's important. They were all trapped close. A flash or two could cause them issues. Up above is Sociable. He's low, but he's willing to take that headshot angle. Yumpy waiting on the cross, but he hasn't found the fight. Pressure being put in from Trex, needs to win this battle, and he does. Panatek has found another, and now issues for Sociable. He's low and they're defusing. They could both fight him at once. Liquid do well to recover from a dangerous scenario. They level things up.
A very dangerous start as well to this map. Find their way back into the light is key, and I think the problems here, you look towards that B site, you're trying to get away from Nats and the impact he had on short, so you walk into a smoke on elbow and the rest of the site is clear, and Nats is waiting inside of it. It's going to start to be a bit of an annoyance.
Good job, guys. Let's go!
If he's able to consistently...
Chill it. Don't rush this into it.
Consistently punish on these plays. And here's the thing, BBL use ultimates in that round. They don't find the win for it. It's a very costly round in that sense. They're left on a weak economy. And look at the safety nets that Team Liquid now have to fall back on. Not only do they have the Seekers and the Viper's Pit, but an orbital strike too.
Yeah.
No shortage of responses for whatever BBL throw their way.
Wow.
More so in the next round.
I'm looking at the amount of stingers that have been purchased and the Viper's Pit. I feel like the goal here from BBL is if they can get that post plant, they can fight within and just spray those SMGs and hope for a victory. It's definitely not a surefire win. Profek has, I feel like almost intentionally been revealed by that flash. Keep a couple of players on that side of the map. Liquid, though, haven't moved the remainder of the others. They are still sat waiting patiently as now Profek has got back to the rest of the team as they look to try and fight. And Nats is definitely getting maybe slightly itchy feet looking for players to battle.
40 seconds on the clock. BBL start to take space, floating out, but the Viper's pit goes up. Sociable, good to take Camo down, somehow upgrading to a rifle. There goes Nats, Viper's pit to fall. So will Sociable, but an immediate response from Levin with the space left open. And an answer back from Magnum, putting his own pit into play. Panatek and Trex have so much to fight up against, and look how low Trex is, just hiding in that corner, not yet spotted. Levin goes down. This gets a little spooky. But playing against Stingers inside a pit, especially on 1 HP, this should be impossible for Trex to find anything.
Yeah, there's Magnum. He was the safe pair of hands, and for Panatek, sure he has the Seekers, but committing it now, it might reveal where they are, but getting to them is going to be incredibly difficult. Profek was even playing the post plant with a Molotov, and I think just a well-orchestrated round coming out of the side of BBL. They had a plan from the get-go. They kept players on the other side of the map, and then they stuck to that plan. I think the only spot that kind of could have gone the other way was that initial fight from Sociable. I think they knew exactly where he was going to be, and somehow he still won it.
Here we get to see it in the replay. Like, that's absolutely insane.
Like, look, he's fully watching the TP and still doesn't manage to win that fight. And then Magnum, that's actually perfect. He's the one that wins the battle versus the other pit.
You can watch that Sociable one back another 5 or 6 times. I don't think I'd understand how he gets away with it, just immediately backing off. The clone maybe absorbing the shot. Team Liquid call a timeout. They need a moment to gather themselves. The 3 rounds in a row that they had now interrupted. And the problem for them really is when you look down at the bottom of the screen, you can see that the economy is in a very shaky spot. They've already burned up so many of their valuable ultimates, not having the impact they needed. And it's not like a Seekers on Sky is going to save you a round. It's not a Blade Storm to give a player a rifle. So a full buy, difficult to come by. And then the question is, do they want to play with those weaknesses without a pit to play inside of, because they used that in the previous? Or do they want to play for the next round, allow BBL to already push up to 5? And I suppose it's a good time to touch on that, Tom, as far as expectations. We're looking at BBL on the attack side, looking to qualify to champs. How many rounds do we want to see them walk out with for it to be acceptable, a good?
It's kind of a weird scenario because the last time they played, they did slightly better on the defense, but that was with a completely different comp. I think this one, you would sit there and go that the likelihood is they should be winning out the attack half, because that is normally the case again for Liquid. But again, you're up against a completely different comp, a very aggressive comp on the defense. I'd say both teams will look for a minimum of 7 on the attack side. But I think it's going to be a lot more difficult for Liquid to figure out. And while Patatek tried to maybe bait it and not have to use one of those flashes, Profek's won that second fight as well.
Now look what's left. 2 Sheriffs and a Judge to play with for the defense. Nat's already relocating. Classic in hand. He'll get back in with the Judge and somehow take down Magnum. 11 does very well to punish him for that. They've spotted Kiko. He still manages to find one, but caught with knife out. Sociable goes down. This is getting way too close. They had 2 Sheriffs and a Judge. Now it's 2 rifles. Make that one. The one is on Camo, and this man, he is no slouch. This will be a difficult play for BBL if he finds the first, but it's Profek holding strong. A 4K from that man to put 5 on the board for BBL.
Yeah, he's had to be the safe pair of hands in this round. It was a round that seemed massively favored to BBL, but even still, Liquid made it look interesting. And I do think there's been a couple of moments from Sociable that have been over the top. Like, you can understand why. Like, after the last map, he's taking risks in a similar fashion, but in rounds like this, it definitely makes me a little bit more nervous. Of course, for Liquid, that was just a lower buy round. This is what they were sort of building towards. With the Operator now in hand for Camo. Same can be said for Sociable.
Well, they're going to see that. The decoy's being sent up towards A. The Op's being spotted. Liquid know what they're up against, at least. Nats, he's got to be careful how much he commits to this B-long angle. They've lost Patatek a few times here, and no doubt it's going to be something that BBL look to brawl for. But it's the AWP being positioned on this angle now that causes the real problem. Luckily, Nats is backed off. He calls for the dog to go through, and there we go. We've spotted at least 2, and they know the AWP is there. Nats goes out, but he is punished, thinking they were still behind the orb, that he might have an isolated fight. But now it's Patatek who stands alone at the mouth of a storm. Has a chance with a TP right in front of him, with another onto 11. He looked to be in danger, but he is washing away this attacking side. Back to even when he falls.
Magnum, oh, he's actually managed to catch Kiko. Waiting on the other side, and he kills him with 4 HP. I think it was Camo on an operator, so maybe just not quick enough on the trigger, but a big round for Magnum. I want to give more credit, though, to Profek. I feel like he has been their sort of safety in a lot of these rounds. Like, you're looking at players who, Levin and Sociable are always going to be taking risks, like getting util ready, like maybe not paying enough attention, and he is just waiting there, ready for somebody to peek. And wow, then Magnum, this was that final kill, just ready to be re-aggressed on. Now puts both of them at the top of the board. 6 rounds, a half. Equalized is the minimum BBL will be getting, and look at the buy once again for Liquid.
They managed to have a damn good try of it in the previous, even with weaknesses, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to be the same case here. 7 rounds looking likely an immediate double opening for BBL, a plant found, flank watched by 3, in fact.
Planted.
And what they're fighting back in with, well, at least for Kiko, is going to be very difficult to find value with.
Now you know you're playing up against Levin and Sociable, where your opponents have a 5v3 and you're watching the smoke with a judge. And they do peek. That's the thing. They do take these risks. Unnecessary gambles. Now, Seekers have been online for Patatek for a long time. It would be a risk still to use them here. But at this stage, it feels like it's getting to the point where risks need to be made. Kiko moving forward with the judge, but that time has been ticking for a long amount, with Patatek already being dropped. Getting into this site at this point is almost impossible.
Last player standing.
He won't be finding that pick. And he's being followed. There's a chance for Kiko to at least make that worthwhile.
Yeah, that's kind of helped him, because I don't think he wanted to save a judge.
Don't reckon he did. It's still going to have its uses on defense, but you're a little limited on rotations, on repositions. Great upgrade for him, and yeah, maybe it would have been better to just go down to the spike. Either way.
Nice.
A solid round, and I see what you mean about especially Sociable. In these situations, it feels like he is just feeling himself in the previous half, going in for these crazy risks. There you're in a 5v3. They have a chance. They've got Seekers. You don't know where their buy is at exactly, but looking at the players, you imagine they've got something, and he goes swinging out early. But I think that's what happens when you have a guy of a game like that on a deadlock, and now he's on Duelist. He feels like he has to be the one to take those fights. Maybe rein it in.
Camo is now in spot. Like, they have been fighting this almost every single round and have been decimated for it. There is going to be util coming his way, but...
Scout destroyed.
Not by the Phantom.
Oh, and Sociable just goes TPing into the cross. Not expecting anybody to be that wide. Well, this is a fight that Levin should almost definitely win. He's up against the... No, he's up against the pistol! How has Camo come out on top there? He will be decimated by the ult, but... Well, that's the second time I've cursed someone while getting a kill from that ultimate. Sorry, Minimoon.
That's tough. There's not many ISOs that would lose that fight. A flash in the pan, but it set fire to a strong half from BBL. The gap could be down to 2 by the time we swap sides. And that's a lifeline for Team Liquid. I don't know how he's won that ult.
There we go. Yep.
That was, so we talked about Sociable.
It's not even like he was in a
wide,
wide angle as well. He's just on a default angle that they know he's in. So that's just silly. And that is way more silly.
Yeah, I really don't know what Sociable was thinking. Maybe thought that the TP was more in the corner. It's the best excuse I've got.
Yeah. Well, still in the lead. We're definitely seeing some of those mistakes being made. BBL deserved to go in with a pretty high lead in this half, but Liquid could diminish it down to just 2. This is nasty from Sociable. Now, no need to go further around the corner. Just want to try and play that close angle, but bear in mind that there is going to be the Thrash sent through, and he's sent running on the other side. This could catch a few players, in fact, but will eventually be destroyed.
Benefit of the judge up close. You're going to instantly shred that ultimate. Showstopper, though, a little harder to deal with. It's out, it's fired, and it's not found its mark. A bit more needed. Yumpy, the one to answer up, but Nats is there, keeping numbers in Team Liquid's favor. Defuse underway. It's going to be the wingman. Destroyed, but at the cost of Magnum's life, and Profek all alone, up against the numbers. He does well to start. The defuse almost finished, and he buys time. There's a molly on as well, but that spike I don't think is ticking nearly quick enough. Great attempt, but in the end, it will be 7-5.
Yeah, it feels like almost the minimum for BBL. And once again, the resilience of Liquid is showing. They are not giving up on this fight as of yet. But even still, going into that second half, BBL are set and ready to potentially claim their champ spot.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Well, this could be a new chapter for BBL. Just one half away from locking in champions. Their first VCT international event, and what a debut it would be, led by Yumpy, a man who's seen heights before, and up against a man like Nat, someone that has stopped Yumpy and his squad in their tracks in both of the previous stages this year. It seems destined to be, Tom.
Yeah, there's a very real chance that they end up in the grand final versus each other as well, with how they've both been performing this year, and maybe a rework of a crowned champion, as you see at the top of EMEA. But only one of them can make it to the finals first. Liquid could confirm Heretics champions if they win this. BBL could confirm themselves for the first time ever, making it to an international, but more importantly, making it to the biggest of the year. Sociable, already under serious pressure, and he's dead. Didn't get out of there quick enough, caught, and because of this, Liquid are looking to execute. Yumpy in position, though, the leader of the pack, has evened things up, and he's looking for a little more. Has some support, but that spike plant will come in.
Yeah, it was really smart letting the plant go through. They thought the space was free, but when they fight it, he's there. Now Nat's lurking up behind, looks set to bring them back into favor, but Levin quickly trades it out. Patatek now with no safe space to stand, steps into the smoke, and goes out of the round. Now the post-plant setup is still here. I think Nats has already loosed a snake bite. There it is landing. It's going to cause them a little bit of a problem as Levin goes down quite quickly. His shield broken by that snake bite gave Nats the fight, but he has two more to take down. This is what he does. This is his specialty, but he is cut down to size by Profek. Another pistol for BBL. They finally found their form, and 8-5, a step closer to locking in champs.
It seems as well. I don't think throughout this series, and maybe even the last couple, that we saw the very best of what Profek can do. But I think this map, the most important map in the whole organization's history, is where he has come alive, 15-6. And as I said, if I was going to pick out the most important kills in every single round, I feel like most of them have gone the way of Profek. He's been incredible. Even still, though, we know the BBL, throughout the season, there's been moments where leads have slipped. And more importantly, there have been moments where Liquid have shown that they are one of the most resilient squads in VCT EMEA, no matter what they're fighting for. Camo looking for space, and Magnum has been decimated early. That is not the start the BBL were looking for in this second round, and it's all a ruse.
Especially with that play from Camo into Lambs. It's causing so many problems for BBL. They have to rotate in to provide that support to back up Yumpy, but now That leaves B way open. It leaves 11 isolated, and he's missed the timing. They're already through, pushed into elbow, and I don't think he has a clue that that's gone down. A flank that should leave him dead to rights. And the reposition, it's not keeping him safe. If they step through that smoke, he should be done. And he will be.
Yeah, it's shield activated. Sociable's only just making his way onto the scene. The spacing, and more importantly, the timing from Liquid in this round has been sublime. They've already picked up one of the rifles, but Sociable has been able to catch out Nats. A gap, but that gap is being filled elsewhere. Yumpy trying to wrap in, and he only has an SMG. This sniper, not good for close range, and unfortunately the SMG, not good for long range. Even still, they've turned their back to Sociable, a man that you can never look the wrong way against. He's back in hand with that sniper, but the reload's going to take a moment, not realizing there is a man just sat on the spike. Needs to almost no-scope if there's going to be an opportunity, and from behind he will be stabbed in the back. Panatek to win that second round. And Liquid has said, never count them out.
If he just looked left there as well, there would have been a stunned Panatek to take down. That's nasty. Magnum maybe his eye being drawn by the blast pack through from Camo. Look, there he is stunned up, and he goes, oh, I've got the knife. Beautiful. 8-6, Team Liquid with an early bounce back lead for BBL, put down to 2. The economy in bits and pieces. This should be a one-round gap. This should be BBL falling by the wayside. A chance to farm orbs at least. You can see that Levin picking up that. He's just 2 away. And the benefit here, obviously, when you put that ISO wall down, no one can contest you in taking it.
It's given them at least a little bit from this round, but anything else would be nice. Good shot from Levin.
Got his ult.
Yeah, that's ult for next round. Not for this one, but look at the full rotation. BBL, they don't have much in this round anyway, so might as well commit it all here. Normally you're going to see at least some pushing and probing on the other side of the map, but when you know your opponents have a severe weakness or potentially think they may have just forced back up with what they could,
Spike dropped.
you kind of don't want to give them any individual fights. But that means you group up.
Time to jump.
The only downside is if BBL overplay their hand, that TP can be taken so quickly. But now it's commitment. The snake bite can be sent through. You already hear the wingman running in for that spike plant. Nats does well to pick up Magnum. Molly denies aggression from Yumpy. Profect isolated in this duel. Very well handled by Team Liquid, ticking every box. And it is just Yumpy tagged up from that Molly to deal with. Quite a costly round in the end.
Yeah.
But one that they will be happy to find.
Yeah, I think it's important for BBL to make that costly, just because of what happened in the last. Like, you're going to deliver them a weapon or two, and the game's going to be stolen from you. This is a story we've seen many times before. As said, within the VCT, there have been 3 matches this year. 2 of them, which eliminated BBL. The third, which was in the group stage, and all of them went 2-1 in favor of Liquid.
Where are you?
Sociable's feeling confident. There's an ankle spotted and an easy pickup. Camo out of the round. An orb for him. The spike dropped and a slow approach now across the board for Team Liquid. I believe Levin activated his ult without finding anyone. That's always the problem. You look at this ultimate combined with what Sociable now has thanks to his opening, and you can often find so much, but I understand it also. Sociable had walked down B long, you see nobody, and you go, okay, I probably have one if I pop it. Unlucky.
Full reposition from Sociable. Now on the other side of the map, they've tried to avoid him here. And actually, Nats managed to win that first fight. It is a trade back, but is there an escape plan? Not really. He's stuck in the mud, but he just stuck around! Again, Sociable causing them issues, but the rest of his team have fallen. The pit will be put into play. There's no one really close enough to deal with it, and the molly definitely seems like a blip. Yumpy coming in from behind. Kiko so desperately low, but within the pit, it almost levels the playing field. A stray spam could take him out, but they are not spamming in the right place. They are hunting for where he is. No utility even available to help them out. And this is a nasty little angle, in fact, from Kiko, who's expecting anyone to be here. He is! I think he spotted his foot, maybe out the side of the pit. Just the tiniest bit, but now it's Nats. This is Nats in prime position. Viper's pit down. But he's going to look to fall back. They are looking to try and get this to half, but they failed to do it. Didn't manage to get it all the way. Now he drops the pin to the open, and the round is already done. This is what this man does! Put Nats in a Red Bull clutch, and Nats delivers.
Hey, it's one thing to face Nats when the spike is down, when he's got utility, but when he's inside his pit, you're not getting away with that. And it was Magnum's jump peak. And as we saw, it was just a hand that he showed. That wasn't an over peak from him. That was a crazy shot hit by
Look,
Nats.
you can see the foot just under the edge of the pit.
The snake bite bought him time. The fact they didn't get it half really played against them here. It's got to be frustrating to lose that, but again, many men have faced Nats in that kind of situation, and not many have lived to tell the tale. Tied up neck and neck with everything to play for. Liquid win means Heretics lock in champions. But for BBL, the stakes a bit higher. Liquid are already qualified. BBL need this win or a win in the lower bracket. They have to make it to the grand finals. And while they looked set to claim it here, they're now on an eco up against Liquid's full buy. They should be on the back foot.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, very nicely played.
It's a good idea. It's not quite delivered them the opener they were hoping for, and unfortunately, it's one of the few times we're seeing a Sky in play, which means that it doesn't even have that much of an impact. Panatech can bring Camo back up to 100. The main thing that has cost them is time. Half of the clock already gone. And again, the gambles so far from Liquid have led them into the wrong site every single time.
Oh, so much damage done, but Patty's still standing in the end of that battle. And we've traded out 1-to-1. Sociable in position, spots them, breaks the flash. Levin swings in deep and gets himself one. They're making this costly. They're chipping away one by one until finally only Trex remains. He's been ulted as well. They know exactly where he is. The player sees is safe inside the smoke, and as it fades, Prophet will emerge victorious. 9-8, I said, but we thought it would be in favor of Team Liquid. Instead, a pay safe card, Thrifty, puts BBL in the lead.
It feels like in every single one of these low buy rounds, Liquid has walked in to a BBL stack. I said it before they went into that site, they have been cursed to gamble on that side, and it felt like only a matter of time before BBL were able to take one of those rounds home. This was the one. Prophet continuing as those controllers of him and Nats brawl for the top of the board. And just look at the damage it has done to Liquid's economy. Now, they do have a couple of ultimates, a couple of high-impact ones at that, but so does Prophet on the other side. And well, after being pressured, he's more than ready to go if they look to challenge.
This is really a round where if you can, you want to save those ultis, but putting double digits on the board, edging closer to that victory in the series, to breaking Team Liquid.
And their economy as well.
Exactly. It could be worth it to throw it in. The reset from Team Liquid, move towards the A site. Will be Magnum waiting for them. He's been on the junk peaks. He was caught by the operator, but the Stinger not quite as scary at that range.
Yeah, you can see he's not playing anywhere near that orb anymore. After you get right-click classic by Nats, you show some respect. And it's respect he's earned over time. Seeing them once again. Pressure being put in, and there is that orbital strike. Not quite worked out for Sociable, though. And even still, with 30 seconds left, there is enough time for them to get this spike down. Patience, though, I like that. Denying the plant. Yumpy also killing off Nats. This is troublesome.
And Nats going down, that was their main hope. The wraparound through the smoke. Hope the players are all focused on that spike. Trex does well, but the problem is the rifles, the HP, everything in favor of BBL. Kiko and Trex so desperately low. An orbital strike, well placed, could save the round and may well need to. Levin's alone. Kiko holding ult in hand, waiting for the tap. Levin's got to be quick. He needs to tap it now. Get that ult out of him. Oh, it's going to catch him for so much damage, but Levin just about survives. This could have been an easy round. It was anything but. Tom, when I saw him run through that orbital strike, I thought it was done. I really did. Oh.
That was, it's basically the finest line between the smartest and the dumbest play possible.
100%.
Like, if he goes down to that, he looks like the worst player in the entire server. Instead, why on earth would Kiko expect anybody in their right mind to run that way? He even put it forward so that he would go back. Like, that is literal madness. Like, of course he doesn't expect it.
Holy shit! I shit myself.
Oh, it is. The manner in which BBL are winning these rounds, you may never see again. Like, I genuinely mean that. You may never see rounds like this ever again. Oh. Still, though, look at the amount of damage that was done. That was meant to be an economy builder, and maybe you use an ult or two. They used an ult or two, and they didn't build any economy.
Magnum is just a national treasure, man. I love this guy so much.
I'd say an international treasure.
Yeah, we are Magnum Nation. Team Liquid, 2 rounds behind. Showstopper available for them to break through this A-hold. But it's a very different approach. BBL this time not having Magnum in position. Instead, he's popped the ult towards B long. You got Profek holding close. You even got a third player here in the form of Levin, but full pressure on A.
Nice.
They're going to concede this, knowing that a big ultimate is underway, knowing that... Oh, no!
Oh,
just about
Houdini.
surviving. Sociable. Still drawing breath. Levin finds one. That was the ultimate used to capture Kiko. Trex down. This is beautiful reactions from BBL.
Yeah, they sort of led them into the trap to begin with. Now can they get out of it on top? Even still getting through lamps is difficult. Well done by Padatek, but his teammate traded out. Again, look at the man deeper. It's Nats that will end up being the focus. The spam doing a little bit of damage. But he needs to time all his utility perfectly, and this time they've got rid of him, and they've taken Padatek as well. BBL are marching closer to that finish line. The goal they have set for years, one of the first teams within the whole circuit, back all the way towards that 2020. BBL were fighting in Valorant. They've never quite made it to champions. They are 2 rounds away. First things first, they'll have to deal with a liquid pause.
Let's go.
Well, you look back at history, Tom, and well, even look forward. It seems like that's what stands in BBL's way. This is a team of almosts throughout the history of franchise. A squad that's always come close, but never quite close enough, missing the mark by an inch. And now, well, we would have said the dream of playoffs for BBL starting out this year, but that dream has evolved. It's gotten bigger. They've met their goals and found new ones to shoot towards, standing just 2 rounds away from champions. A monumental achievement for not just this roster, for this organization. They've come in flying their banner with expectations middling at best, and they have delivered some of the best Valorant on that stage that we've seen. This could be a new era of BBL. As formality, perhaps, to get this across the line. If they win this round with a full investment from Liquid, with no ults for their opposition to fall back on, that should be the beginning of the end, or the start of BBL's next chapter.
That's it. Should. They are not there yet. And they are up against a team that ultimately in this series is playing, firstly, for the grand final, but secondly, for another team. They're hoping, maybe, I guess Padatek is, that they'll take Heretics with them. But that means that the pressure sits on one side of the stage. Now, can BBL thrive within that pressure? It's an early fight for Sociable, this time nice. 1 and out. No risk taken, Padatek gone.
Huge investment, and now from Team Liquid, they put their credits into it. Right now, you lose one of those key flashes, or 2 of those key flashes, I suppose, relying on Trex. Back comes the Dizzy, and in it goes. It's going to be full commitment. They're not wasting any time. Looking to bounce off the momentum of opening this up. Catch BBL off guard, and they've done so. Camo wrapping around backside. Big punish, but there's the snakebite kill onto Trex. It's keeping it even, but we're not so desperately low. This could fall apart for Liquid. They need Camo to dig deep, and it will be time running down. No utility left to deny this defuse. BBL, they're still going to smoke to play with, but they have to deal with Camo close.
And now it's left all onto Magnum. A man who's made the journey to the top before and looks to do it with a completely different roster. The thing is, he's got the fight versus Nats from behind, and he won't be able to do it. They started the round off strong, but as said, Liquid never quit. And they will break that trend of 3. And now, well, you mentioned that in that round they didn't have the ultimates. Well, those are starting to come online as well.
They absolutely are. Already seeing Thrash one away from a Viper's Pit, and if you've just tuned in to Valorant for the first time, you might not know how much impact Nats can have with a Viper's Pit, but let me assure you, it is a lot. Even there, you see him playing behind his teammate's wall. Oh, sorry, his opposition's wall. And well, he still gets the job done. Camo also getting the second nade off, thanks to the kill in elbow is working against them. Weaknesses here, Levin and Yumpy on pistols, Sociable with a bookie, and I suppose of all the times, this is the best moment to have that ult sent through.
It's whether they can deal with Profik, and that's exactly what Nats has done. Levin has tried to dodge the fight. He got 2 for 1. I don't even think he realized that he got the kills, but even still has made the round competitive. Magnum with a rifle, still standing, but not wanting to overface. He knows his teammate a little bit further away and just decides to fall back. This round spawned from almost absolutely nothing. A little miracle from Levin. With Sociable yet to find another gun, he's going to go all the way around and hope that there's one close. I don't know if there is.
Stepping in the smoke would be a death sentence, but he's wrapping up and over. It's a freebie. Now it's Trex, the lone wolf surrounded by hungry hunters. He takes a bite out of the first and eliminates Sociable. A Red Bull clutch for Trex. A lifeline for Team Liquid.
It's just what he does. You put this man alone on a site with 1, 2, 3, you name it. And somehow he seems to make things work. There's coming close to beating Liquid, and then there's actually beating Liquid. And right now, BBL are in that former camp. They could have had themselves 12, they could have had themselves map point, but for Trex, they still have a bye though, coming into this one.
Distraction.
Well, there's the ult off rip. Sociable punishing the re-peek as well. They won't close the distance in time. Levin should be safely getting away inside of Lamps. That's the advantage for BBL. Credits dumped into this round, and ult already used.
Where's he going?
He's going
through! Oh, that's such a gamble.
Huge risk.
I think he had the shield online, so just tried to play off it, but I don't think that was worth it. It has bought time for the wraparound, but Liquid aren't just sitting pretty. They're not just waiting for that flank to come in. They've moved forward. And it could be the undoing. Maybe the pressure, or maybe just overconfidence. But now they've got to try and find a way back into this round, and they are not getting it. It's all onto Yumpy. And the remaining 2 are a little bit further back. Orbital strike for Kiko. It's going to be a tap just to bait him in, and just like before, Panatek on the swing. They had hope, they had a chance, but once again, Liquid continue to climb.
Neck and neck when it seemed like BBL were just moments away. They were facing the last-ditch buy from Liquid. They found an opening with Sociable.
Silly.
A few rounds ago, it seemed like that was the end already beginning, and somehow Liquid have dug deep. They fought their way back into this one. And going into round 23, we know we're going the distance. Regulation played to its fullest. BBL call a timeout. 3 in a row from their opponents. They need this to be where they find their form again, or that dream of making it to champions. It will have to be realized in that lower bracket BO5.
BBL definitely sweating now. 3 lost in a row, but this was the one that shattered their economy. They've won rounds like this before, but you can just feel the air of change. Maybe not just in the building, but for the players themselves. Because in each of these rounds, think back. A 1v2 for Trex, an overface from Levin. Opportunities dwindled. And the more you give to Nats and his band of merry men, the more they will take away. They've been gifted a lifeline, or grabbed it, depending on your outlook. And now they come in with better weapons, a Viper's Pit,
Stopping fire.
and a lot needed for the other side.
Oh! Levin's got an opening. He's got shield online. Thought he wanted to get out of here, but he's sticking around. Levin stands his ground against the onslaught of Liquid.
The spike.
That's giving them a chance here. No longer fighting for a 12-11 to battle it back in the next, but they can get it done here. Guarantee at least an overtime.
Oh, this fight is everything. This fight's absolutely everything. It's a whiff! It's a whiff from Nats! You would have bet your house on him that shot. Didn't expect him to be there, of course, but 2 shots go amiss. Bear in mind, 1 shot would have done the job. And now Patatek,
He stepped.
the man who's looking to try and take Heretics to champions, his old boys, but he is walking into a death trap. He's walking into a corner that is help from Magnum. He expects it. No, he doesn't. Looks away at the last second. BBL. It's a pay save card, Thrifty, but more importantly, it might just be redemption for Levin. He let a round go in the last, but you can bet your house he's won this one for them.
That is not just a win, that is a breakthrough. A man who, looking back at that 4v3 in the previous, like you said, he made a mistake, and that mistake very nearly cost him this chance to fight for champions, but this...
Boys, this is what we needed! Let's go, boys!
Match, series, and champions point for BBL. They can qualify themselves in this round, and look at the weaknesses on Team Liquid.
The main thing, it's already we're seeing the pressure of that ult. TP out. Levin in play once again, but his orbital strike has been used proactively to deny the pace of that hit. Still, a Viper's Pit available for Nats. And as we've seen throughout, BBL have had their opportunities, but every step of the way, Liquid have matched them.
Toxins I've got your trail.
They grind to a halt. Seeker's being used now. This is an attempted ruse, and it's actually done well. They baited out the Nightfall. They pulled a couple of rotations, but there's still 2 members sat waiting on this site.
And the problem is, even Levin being off-site, because he's got the ult, he can still have impact. That's Nats, that's the Viper's Pit. If he wins this, a huge ult removed, but Nats is the one to find it. No shield for Levin. He's stuck inside his pit, but firing back takes down Sociable. Even lands Magnum! And this is a ruse, a one-man fake. But unfortunately, BBL have sent their numbers to A. The TP's taken though, and the spike will be planted cleanly.
Nats, I said, you give the man a Viper's Pit, and while the things he does with it are miracles, Profec's been good.
Spike planted.
He's managed to take down Trex, but a 2v4, well, 2v5 turn 4 retake. HP even being healed up for BBL to win it here. Well, you'd have to take a look at what's on the other side, and Nats is waiting to finish the job. He started an ace to take them to overtime. The leader of the pack does it again.
Switching sides. Overtime.
Nats inside of Viper's Pit. Hell, they even took him out for a minute. They brought him into this ult, and he pushed close, Spectre in hand, and manages to get 3. Then rotating in, the rest of the squad gets the plant, and he still is the only one putting those numbers up. A cheer from Boo, no doubt all of Heretics. Happy to see this, as their chances of qualifying today just increased. Overtime between these two. What a game it has been so far.
Oh, it's been, well, you could easily make a highlight reel of this and this alone. I'm not sure that was the plan for Magnum. That's, again, you can see the pressure. That orb has, yeah, gone into a horrific spot.
Toxins going up.
And this is what we talk about when we say that for BBL, everything is on the line. You can forgive some of the blips that have been made, but now they need to find their footing once again, and they are walking into the Lion's Den.
It's a bit disjointed as well. I mean, it was the decoy that he ran in with, but that's just ignored. The freebie found. They give up site control, but no problem to do so. BBL now gonna face a full retake. Most of the utility online, the ones that are going to get you back into the site. Nats up close. He's caught players looking the wrong way. There's another. This is getting desperate with Nats, an ace in the previous, a 3K in this, and that's the pit online. The last place you want to see Team Liquid's IGL as Levin desperately searches for him, trying to hunt it down. Oh, Trex clears it. 13 on the board, and it's Team Liquid looking to lock in the grand final spot, looking to lock in Team Heretics for champions and send BBL down to their last chance.
If there's anybody on any day, in any place or any time that you did not want to show up, it was Nats on Bind, on Viper. This is a man that, even if the form of the team he's on
state right now. Boys, just win that backside, Maverick.
It's not good. He will still perform, and he is performing. You could see, it's like just win the attack side. At this stage, you almost think that he is in the mode of, I will do it myself. 28 and 18, but I feel like that doesn't even come close to reflecting the impact he's had on this game.
And I think we talked a lot in the past about when you're close to winning a map, you get dragged into that overtime, especially with the kind of the buffer of 3 rounds leading up to BBL hitting 12. And they had a good lead and they lost it. And we talk a lot about the impact of that mentally for players, for a team overall, even the coaches. But the reality is, when you've just had a chance to make it to champions, dangled in front of you and snatched back by a man acing, then getting a 3K in OT, because of Nats alone, you are now facing that lower bracket. This should have been the end of the story for BBL. If they go straight to grand finals, lock in champs, and pressure is alleviated. Instead, the game is on, and Team Liquid may be about to close it out. Operator for Sociable here in overtime. It's a risk, but on defense, it was working.
Yeah, it was one of the better parts of their defensive side, him being able to get aggressive. Orb taken early for Levin, but he's going to need a couple of kills if that ult is to come through. Shower's locked down. Alleviates at least a little bit of pressure. But this has been a patient attack side. And a lot of that is just down to, you want to give Nats the space to do his work, to find those gaps, to exploit a team that has performed well throughout this series, throughout this year.
Sociable. The op game's being
He went back.
He goes back for more. He's going in for a 3rd bite. And he's the one ending up getting bitten. Levin finds nothing up close. Prophet flying under the radar. He's good for 1. Somehow, Camo's able to set back and reset. Prophet so close, but not close enough for BBL. They had Champions Point, but Liquid battled back. And with this win, locking in their grand finals, also locks in Team Heretics to champions. BBL not out of the running. The lower bracket could still send them there, but this has got to feel like a gut punch.